So at long last, our rebuilt engine is in the car. Now I haven't videoed me putting this in the car because I already have a video showing you how to fit a Fiat 500 engine back in a car. So check that out. Also, I didn't record me putting the clutch on because I also have a video showing that already. So if you're interested in how to put the clutch on and how to put the engine in, then check out those videos that are elsewhere in the channel. The only things that I haven't shown before are installation of the sump plug, which we have here, and installation of the HT leads, which we have here. So what we're going to do is first put our sump plug in, and obviously that goes in the sump, which is underneath the car. They're not going to actually show me kind of screwing it in. It's pretty obvious that you screw it in, but I'm going to give you a tip, which is to put some PFT tape on and around the thread. Now, in case you're not familiar with PFT tape, it's what plumbers tend to use to stop water leaking out of a connection. There's this tape here. So basically what I'm going to do is take some of this tape and wrap it around the threads. Now I'm going to do this a couple of times round because it's so thin that it doesn't seem to affect the use of the plug itself, but it does mean that oil is less likely to leak out, especially when it gets very hot and thin. So you're going to break that off. So I've got a couple of wraps around there and give you a bit of a close-up. There we go. That's what that's looking like now. So I should be able to go under the car. I've actually got a bit of tape covering it at the moment so that nothing could get into the engine. I'm just going to lie on the side and start to screw that in. I can already feel that's a nice tight fit because of that tape. And then I believe it's 17, but it might be a 19. It's just I think it's more likely to be a 19. Let me just check that. No, 19's too big. So we're all right with 17. Yeah. So just going to get myself ratchet. Right, that's it nice and tight. And now that's ready to put some oil in the car once we get that. We have our HT leads. These do come with an earthing or grounding cable. I don't know why, because previous ones didn't. And I've not seen anyone use one before, so I'm actually going to take these out of here. If I need to put it back in, I can easily, but don't believe it's needed with my current setup. There we go. Now you need to make sure you got the right cables, because this is for an F, but it really all depends on where your coil is. So my coil is on the kind of left side of the engine as we're looking at it. Other engines, especially the later models, L, R, tend to have them on the right. But that will depend how long your coil length here. So the longest piece here is for the actual distributor to the coil. So that needs to be the right length. And obviously, if it's too long or too short, it's not going to work properly. So I know this is going to be the middle cable on our distributor here, and that's the one that goes to the coil, and that's the longest one, so I can plug that in first. Push it down. So often easier to push that up, get this seated properly. There we go, and then push the rubber beast back down. Now the shortest one is going to be our number 1 cable, because it has to go the least distance, and on the top of the distributor we have a 1 and a 2, so 1 is at the back there, 2's at the front there. So as long as we've got the right cable, and check it again, it's this one, we can put that one in, push it home, make sure it's right the way in, and then the remaining one must be cylinder 2, which will be at the back, and push that home, and we'll seat that back. Okay, then we have these little kind of, I don't know what you call them, grommets, holders, that fit into here, and actually just going to, this is a bit messed up on this tinware here, so I'm going to try just get it to open up a little bit. Let's put those in a line as well, and that might help us squeeze it through. Okay, feels like that's seated now, and sunlight to come out. And then we have another one here, so pull this piece of pipe back as far as we can. That's quite hooped, doesn't it? Not had that quite so high before. I'm not sure that's a good thing. Okay, I'll try and push this over the seal. Take this one back off a second. Plug our first one in, then we know roughly where it's going to be. So the shortest one, plug 1, is that? It's so tight. Okay. I like to hear that kind of clicking sound when I put one on. Gives me confidence it is where it needs to be. Right, so move this right up, can't we? nicely now. Put this one in. Try and get the 3 cables to line up in a row. That's got it this time. Okay, and that's home. Okay, so this one is going to thread through here. It's a tight fit. Let's pull that back. Make sure we get it on. Nicely seated. Showing the rubber piece. And then finally complete this round and plug that into the coil. There you go. Again, listen for that kind of positive click. And there. That looks pretty good. What I have noticed is these should have a little rubber grommet that goes over the top here, so I'm going to see whether I've got any of those left on the previous set of cables. I have them here, they're like a little hat. So I'm just going to pull these back out. The rubber's stayed on. Obviously pushed that down a bit too much. So they're just gonna, I think, just lie in the hole that way up. Get this back on. It's going to be one of those things that came off easy. Doesn't want to go back on. Almost there, I think. There we go. Right, okay, that's in. Let's do the other one. Good, that came off easier. Again, I can go that way. Over the rubber piece. Put the back one back in first. Positive click into the, there we go, push our piece protecting it down, and then we'll push our little plug in here. And the purpose of this little rubber plug, as I'm calling it, is to make sure that the air that's being generated by the fan doesn't just come out of the holes. where the spark plugs go, so it kind of traps, or should trap, the air in, hopefully. God, that's stiff. Right, okay, it's down now, and then we'll put our little plug again back over, and there, that's our engine ready, apart from oil, to actually start up.